Okay, so it's no secret the Terminator franchise hasn't been doing good since Terminator 2. Every sequel since, with the exception of Salvation, has basically been a retread of the first one. And the last movie was insulting to the fans, to say the least. I haven't seen it, but I know the plot in detail. And all I'm gonna say is, it makes the whole thing that John Connor gets killed and now there's a chosen one, Skynet was stopped and now there's Legion, it kind of makes it all futile. Why kill the chosen one when another leader's gonna rise to take his or her place? Why stop Skynet when the timeline's gonna bring another one up? It just, man. But the same year in last year, 2019, that piece of garbage came out, we got a game that everyone dismissed because the only other game the company made was that horrible Rambo game, Terminator Resistance. And despite Terminator Resistance being a game with a lot of technical issues, with graphics that would have been right at home in the previous generation, with audio issues like mic pops because the voice actors were standing too close to the mic, in voice acting that ranges from good for a couple of the people to just okay with everyone else, still managed to give us the definitive Terminator game. Terminator Resistance is what Terminator 3 should have been. It puts you in the shoes of Rivers, a resistance soldier who's the last surviving member of his unit, and you begin trying to escape an attack. You have to quickly meet up and help other people, and then you get to this hub area and you actually can interact with the other survivors, whether it be Jennifer, Patrick, the nurse, I believe her name was Ellen, or Ryan, who I've seen some reviewers say he looks like the guy from Half-Life 2, Dr. Eli something or other, but to me I see Danny Glover. That you get to meet and interact with these characters and you grow to care for these characters. They send you on side quests, which for one I would recommend doing because they're a good source of experience. And two, after you get to know these characters, you want to do them because you care about these characters. Like there's one point where the kid asks you to go back to Pasadena where his house was, and he asks you to find him some chalk. And you want to go out of your way and do this because you care about this character and you want to give this kid a little bit of happiness. He has a sister named Jennifer, and her backstory turns really tragic and you have to earn her trust to get all of it. And she's a well-written character and one of the better voice actors and performances in the game. The gameplay is basic but fun. There's stealth mechanics, you have to hack, and the hacking is a Frogger-style minigame. They could have done a better hacking system. I think what was in Dead Space 2 or even one of the Mass Effect games would have been a lot more intuitive. You have to pick locks, which is similar. It's identical, actually, to Skyrim or Fallout, so that's a plus. Great lock-picking system. And they even build things up, like when you first encounter the T-800s, you're told about screaming from this hospital. You find a very familiar-looking dead body, and then you encounter the T-800, which you're not equipped to really face at this time, and the scene is, it's a very terrifying portion of the game. You have to sneak, you still have to pick blocks. That scene is horrifying. Like, if Resident Evil 3 Remake had that kind of tension, it would have been great, but I found that game more... Let's just say I have no desire to complete that game, but that's a story for a whole other time. But, like, that is the tension. The tension you felt in that part from the T-800s, that's the tension I wanted from Nemesis throughout the game, and it just didn't deliver. And you have to hack up something and blow it up, and after that level, you get weapons that can hurt the Terminators, and at that point the gameplay does become a little more formulaic, but stealth still plays a key. You even get these electric Terminator knives that can one-shot the Terminators, and although they're not a really fun weapon to use, there are some points where I found myself relying on them. The story for this game, in the sound and music, is where it truly shines. This is easily the best Terminator story since Terminator 2 by miles. This game's version of the Terminator theme is amazing. The Terminator theme to me always sounded a little bit sorrowful. In the first one, I would describe it as almost distant sounding, representing the future. In the second game, it feels more like an unavoidable force of nature, and the second movie. And in this game, with the electric riffs, even though it has that sorrowful sound, it still feels more like a battle cry. It feels more like a battle cry, which is a great touch. The sounds are ripped right from the game. You even get the phase plasma rifle in 40-watt range. You get to use the Terminator plasma rifle. And later on, the flashback from you see in the first movie with Kyle Reese, you see that big plasma gun the Infiltrator used in the barracks, which, although it's not confirmed, the barracks, the hideout you spend most of the game in, it looks almost identical to the one Kyle Reese sees in his flashback in the first movie, and spoiler alert, but towards the end of the game, it gets attacked, so it's strongly implied that was where Kyle Reese was for that flashback, as well as it puts you in the hands of other great moments, like if you remember the flashback, the opening scene of Terminator 2 where John Connor's walking down the corridor, there's soldiers moving out of the way and saluting him, it puts you right behind him in that scene. And then you go through the final push, and yes, you get to take part in the final battle. And this, I can't tell you how awesome this moment is. You're fully armed, you have weapons that can take down every enemy in the game, you have the Terminator music playing, and it just feels like the epic final battle we always wanted to see, only you're taking place in it, and it is so much fun. That scene is just awesome. And then it ends with a choice, which I'm not going to go too far into detail, and I'm being vague about a lot of the characters because I want you to experience the game for yourself. There is one character, Baron. I know a lot of people liked her. I didn't, because she's a mini dictator in her actions with very little compassion. But she's still well written. And this game is, you can tell these people were passionate about the franchise. And what I love about it is the passion for making a good Terminator game far outshines the technical limitations they had with this game. It makes up for the shortcomings and the flaws. And it's rare to see that. This is a low-budget developer, so AAA developers, if they can make a movie tie-in this good, what is your excuse? Not only is this the definitive Terminator game, but it's in contention for the best movie-based game ever made. Even with all the technical issues that you could eat once you get into the game are easily forgivable because of just the passion that went into it. I would love to see this team become AAA developers. I would love to see what they can do with that kind of budget, because if they can deliver this on a small budget, just imagine if they had the money to do something really impressive. Which this was really impressive, don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it, but it's still a budget title, and it shows in a lot of areas, but the strengths far outweigh the weaknesses, because maybe it's just so refreshing to get something Terminator that's actually good and not a slap in the face to the fans. So, if you're a Terminator fan, I can't recommend Resistance near enough. As far as a rating, taking the technical limitations in mind, I'm gonna give it a B. Because there are issues, and especially the mic pops can get a little grating after a while, even though they're forgettable, so definitely get this game. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, over and